So many figs in this fig bush. Hey guys, it's Katie. Thanks for stopping by my channel. I'm going to do a garden tour. I haven't done a garden tour at all this year, and the garden is doing really kind of overwhelmingly good. Look how many figs. I'm just like surrounded by figs. Can you see all these figs? I had my husband prune back this fig tree to make it easier to pick because this fig tree is getting crazy. And you know, all that happened is everywhere he cut, like 3 branches came out of every like trunk. So it's like even more dense. We're getting very close to fig picking time, so that's going to be exciting. We just finished last year's figs. I freeze them. I just put them in gallon freezer bags. I think I had like 6 or 8 gallons in the freezer, plus like all you could eat when they were in season last year. And we just finished them up, so these can go ripe anytime. There actually was one ripe that I saw, but it looks like a bird took a bite out of it, so that's okay. We'll get plenty. Anyway, I'll take you around and show you the garden. So here, this is a crazy vine. I saw this on somebody's video. It's called a Tromboncino squash, and you can see some of them there. And this thing has gone crazy. Oh look, there's a butterfly up on the torch flower. This torch flower grew itself from seed that it dropped. I just grew one here last year and it grew back, and I love these. There's like probably 40 different blossoms on this plant right now. And the hummingbirds come, the bees love it. And then I have a really tall sunflower there. I got some shorter sunflowers. But this vine is taking over everywhere. And there are so many of these squash. And it's a winter squash, so it lays down roots along the vine. And so it doesn't matter if a squash vine borer, which I have problems with, the squash vine borer doesn't really affect it because it can just like continue to root. There's some more squash. And if you leave them, they turn into winter squash. So even if I'm not able to get them all, this is my blueberry bush. And there's more in there. And there's some down there. And so this has been a really great plant. There's a female flower that hasn't even opened. It's just going crazy. And I'm picking like 2 or 3 a day. But yeah, if you can't eat them, you just let them mature and they'll turn into a winter squash. So there's one down there too. I also have in this bed that's going kind of crazy is the tarragon. So my mom gave me a couple cuttings of tarragon in the past, and I've never been able to get it to grow. She gave me one and I forgot to put it in the ground, or I ran out of time and it died, and I felt bad, so she gave me this one, and almost the same thing happened. I just threw it here just so that it wouldn't die, and it's taken over this like half of this 8x4 foot bed, and I have taken a ton of it and dried it, so I have so much tarragon. I'm so happy. That butterfly is still bopping around on all the torch flowers. This is another fig. I don't see any figs on it though. It's the story of my life. Oh, and I want to show you the ugliest apple that I'm so proud of. Look at that ugly apple. It's the only one left. But that's the farthest I've ever gotten, the closest I've ever gotten to an apple this late in the season. This apple tree has been a problem for a long time. But there's one apple. I might have to peel it and cut a lot of it away. But we have apples, and we also have lots of bees. So I have quite a few things going on here. I got queens in most of these bigger hives, and then in the smaller nukes I'm trying to make queens. I'm combining these 2 boxes right now, that's why it's tilted up. And then I have this plastic here. This is just temporary to kind of get the weeds knocked down because it's hard to weed here with this many stinging insects. So I want to put down something. There's weed cloth, but then I put the mulch, so you see the weeds just like grow in the mulch. So I want to put something a little more substantial down. Those are the bees. There's even bees in that box there. Here's some more of that squash vine. I planted 2 here, but one of them died, and then I planted 3 here, and they have just taken completely over. You can see how big the squash get. This is actually still pretty small, but I have been picking them small just to, I don't know, keep up on them, because some of them have rotted on the vine. There's another one down there. Cucumbers are mostly done, but this was the best cucumber year I've ever had. I think I got like maybe 10 or 15 cucumbers. Usually the vine dies before I get my first cucumber. There's actually one there. I don't know if that one's any good. Got a basil plant there. And then Swiss chard are just kind of peeking up. I had kale here and it totally got eaten up by harlequin bugs. So I pulled it all out. It was overwintered, and I always overwinter kale, but I've had more and more pests with it. So I wanted a break from the kale. I put the Swiss chard in here, so it's just kind of starting. There's a sunflower that's mostly done, but then I saw the other day that it's putting some new buds. I got paint on my hands. Here's the squash coming in this direction, and you can see how many squash it puts on in a day. There's another one back there. And then here's another Swiss chard. There was one in this corner too, but it's kind of being taken over. This is an 8 by 4 foot bed. I'm backing all the way up so you can see. It is completely taken over by ground cherries. I have grown ground cherries before, and usually they're maybe 14 feet or 14 inches tall. Not 14 feet. Maybe 14 inches tall. This is taking over this 4 by 8 bed. It's going over in almost every direction. I have tried to stake it up, and it's just, I can't even get to it though because of this other problem here, which I'll talk about in a second. The good thing about ground cherries is they have these husks on the fruit. They're called ground cherries because they drop like this. They have this husk that protects them. And so this is the fruit inside. They're kind of, taste like pineapple, and they're like a little crisp berry. They got some little small edible seeds inside. And they're really good. I've grown them for years, but I've never had one grow like this. But the good thing about it is that that husk kind of protects the fruit, even sitting in this moist soil, and they won't rot or anything. So eventually I'll be able to get in here. I have climbed in here a few times, but I don't regularly. So yeah, it's a lot. The part of the reason I can't get in here is because of this tomato plant. This is a tomato plant. My daughter grew it last year, and it did really well. We have a lot of problems with blight, fungus, and things like that, and our tomatoes don't do super well, but hers did really well last year. So this year I started the same seeds. I don't know the variety. I asked her last year. She said, it said cherry tomatoes, and she showed me the seed packet, and it literally says cherry tomatoes. So I don't know the variety, but even staking and pruning and everything, I've had problems with blight. This plant has been literally laying in the lawn here, and very, very minimal damage to the leaves. There's actually 2 jalapeno peppers here, covered in jalapenos and covered in blossoms, but I can't really get to it. I can step through. There's a few places I can step through here, but I don't do it often because it's a little overwhelming. You can see how far. I mean, I would have needed another 5 to 6 feet on this garden bed just to contain this tomato. This was actually 3 tomatoes here in the end. There's some Thai basil. Did you see this is ground cherry? This is ground cherry from over there. So it has traveled like maybe 6 to 8 feet to get to here. And it's over here too. You see that's all this ground cherry. It's insane. I had some other things here. And you can see some of the jalapenos in there. They look okay. Nothing looks like it needs to be picked right away. And I probably will can pickled jalapenos so they can just hang out until I'm ready for them. This tomato is even going up here. I started weaving it in this cattle panel arch that I have. Here's more of the squash. You can see how big they get. This one I was kind of letting it go. And I got another one here. This one you can see how some of them are kind of rotting. So that's why I've been picking some of them kind of smaller. But I did want to see how big this one is. I really like it. And I thought since it was hanging up that it wouldn't have as much problems rotting. This is a tiger melon, and looks like it's starting to get some color. It's supposed to turn like an orangey color. There's another one here. Oh yeah, here it is. There was another one growing. And let's see, this is just more of that squash. I had a tiger melon over here too, but I don't know what happened to it. It's mostly green beans in this bed, and they're just starting to flower. So I think I'm going to be having a lot of green beans here in a little bit. These are all bush beans, and then the ones I planted here quite a bit later, because I was waiting to pull out my sugar snap peas. These are the pole beans, so you can see they're starting to climb. This is actually a new development. That's the first I've seen them actually. I've been like trying to wrap the tendrils around. Ooh, that's prickly. But this is the first I've seen that they're actually grabbing, so that's cool. There's a couple different varieties. I have just like some contender beans. Look at that little baby bean. The purple flowers are so sweet. I have some contender beans. I have some rattlesnake beans. And then I have some of the blue, and I have some of the purple potted bush beans. I got some here too. These ones were unmarked. I think these might be pole beans, not bush beans, because they're getting pretty leggy. So I thought I'd give them this stake. Maybe they'll go up the stake. These ones are kind of reaching too, so I don't know. This is another Thai basil. I mostly grow this for the bees. They love the blossoms, and we'll use it too, but I have plenty of basil from that other plant that I'm actually using and drying. And then here, this is a pepper that I got last year at the nursery. It's called lunchbox peppers, just like those mini bell peppers. And I saved the seeds, so I'm curious to see if these are still, gonna look the same. I know peppers are one of the things that seed saving is a little bit trickier. Over here I have some Swiss chard. I just took a bunch off of this, so we've been using it. So it's a little spindly right now. This is a mulberry tree that I was going to pull out. My daughter wants me to keep it, so I would rather it not be in my garden bed, but we'll have to dig it up eventually. Some more beans. And then this is totally a weed, but it's an edible weed, and actually there was so much of it that I did make a couple times. I just sauteed it with like garlic. It's really good. So it's called purslane, and it has like really succulent leaves, and the leaves are kind of succulent, so for a lot of the year, it's looking kind of past peak right now, but for a lot of the year it's really green and vibrant, and it stands up out of the soil, so it's, you don't have to do a lot of cleaning to wash it up to eat it. And I just chopped it up. The stems are pretty like thick, but they're not woody, and when they cook up they're super tender, and it was really good. When they're fresh, it has kind of a lemony flavor. When you cook it, that flavor doesn't seem to stay, but yeah, this is definitely a weed that we've been eating. I did not plant it. I don't remember ever planting it, and actually it grows like in the cracks of sidewalks around here, so it must have just dropped in here. We got so much rain. I think part of the reason why the garden is kind of so overwhelming right now is it rained like every other day in July, and August has been a little drier, but it's been cool, so that's how the garden is doing. I did get these new beds, and there is some new soil, but I think mostly it's the rain. And even if I water, I can't just, it's not the same as rain, We'll take a little peek-see at my husband's garden. It's also going to go crazy. He has tomatoes in here. Here's more ground cherries. There's morning glories, unfortunately. Got okra. Looks like that one is getting eaten by ants, but the plant looks really good. There's another ground cherry. You see all the ground cherries on the ground there. They just drop, and they'll just wait till you're ready to get them. There's a lot under there too, like in between the beds. They grew here a couple years ago, and this is what his garden looks like a lot of the time. And, that's fine. But I was pulling out stuff a couple years ago. I didn't even know ground cherries were growing. So in the back is some more okra. It's got tomatoes. I think a lot of these tomatoes were volunteers from what he was growing last year. This is a very beautiful pepper plant. It's pretty big. How many tomatoes are under there? I'm not sure what this one is. He also had a shishito. I think that's farther back. Let's see if I can carefully traverse. I thought this was the shishito, but the peppers don't quite look like shishito. But this plant is doing amazing. Let's see. There are more okra back there. Daughter's garden, and she has that same cherry tomato. You see how many tomatoes it's made. She did a much better job staking hers up than I did. And the funny thing about her garden is she made this teepee out of some fig branches that we cut off when we pruned the fig, and she stuck it into the dirt. And there at the base of her stake is a fig tree growing. So yeah, fig trees, when you don't need them, they propagate really easily. When you try to propagate them, these last two beds are just disasters of unmaintained. This is my son's garden, and then this is our strawberry bed. We did not get very many strawberries for as crazy as this bed looks, and now it's being taken over by morning glories. This is a little wild here. This is a mint bed, which I do not recommend planting mint, but it was here when we moved in, so we continue to use it. But again, this was just a fig branch stuck in, and then this is a fig bush that's just growing. I got peppermint in the pot here. And then this was, I did the same thing with a lilac, and it looks like it died back here, but there is just a little bit of new growth there, so it is still alive. So I don't know, I'm probably not going to leave it here, but I'll dig it up. But in here we have spearmint, peppermint, lemon balms. We use it, so that's fine. Here's a volunteer tomato. And then over here we have some projects. These are pawpaws. And my husband collected the seeds, and he's got quite a few trying to grow. These are fig propagations. I'll show you what we used. That worked out pretty well. Let's see if I can find one, but we got these things. I think my husband just bought them on Amazon. I've seen people do it with just baggies or something like that. They're just little plastic containers you fill with soil. And these fig branches, they just readily root. So they just send up roots, and then you cut below that and you have a root ball already. I kind of did the same thing. Ooh, I'm zooming in. When I mulched here, I took a lot of the smaller branches and just stuck them under the mulch, and they rooted. And so a lot of these like smaller ones are from that. So this bush is, you can see like there, we cut it off and it made 3 branches, so super dense in here, but hopefully that means lots of figs. So anyway, that is the garden. It's August 11th, 2025. I don't think I'll be able to get out here again, but I wanted to document it. I wanted to share it with you. I also wanted to keep the memory, because this is kind of the most unusual garden I've had in a long time. So it's doing really well. A lot of times I just garden for the fun of it, get things here and there. Occasionally have a bumper crop of 1 or 2 things, but this year we are getting a ton, and I'm actually, like, we're eating out of the garden most nights, which is pretty cool. The bees are actually producing honey for the first time, like surplus honey, so I think I got close to 10 gallons of honey off my bees. So we're definitely enjoying the abundance. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye!